like watching the Star Wars prequels where you know Anakin is going to become Darth Vader. This is going to be a little bit of a complicated character video because Nomad is a complicated character. Don't watch this video if you haven't read The Sunlit Man yet, because it's gonna have all the spoilers. And if you have read The Sunlit Man, you know that there's also going to be spoilers for the Stormlight Archive. If you haven't read it yet, I can't say why. I know that's a lot of required reading for one video, but some things from the Stormlight Archive are required knowledge for understanding the character Nomad. So you have been warned. Spoilers, let's go. My goal for this video is to focus on Nomad from the Sunlit Man, but we can't ignore his past. We can't ignore what he went through, who he was, what happened to him, what he did in the time before this book, because those things shaped him into who he is now and are the source of a lot of the complications in how he feels and the choices he has to make in this story. To make sure we're really understanding where Nomad comes from, I want to give a quick little recap history on his life before this book. It's going to be super short and seriously, spoilers. So it is revealed partway through this book, although if you're observant, you figure this out before it's revealed, that Nomad is Sigzil from the Stormlight Archive. I hope I'm saying that right. Sigzil. I'm not sure how else you would say it. He started out as a scholar. He studied. He was a student. He failed the thing he was trying to do, and that was like an embarrassment. He has all this education, but he's not doing the job he's educated for. Instead, he gets some more education from Hoid, and Hoid trains him to become a world singer. More than just a storyteller, but someone who preserves history through stories. Then he commits a crime, which takes him to the bridge cruise on the Shattered Plains, putting him in Bridge 4, and putting him on the path to become a Windrunner. And Sigzil has a lot of skills and talents. He puts his knowledge and his experience to use helping Bridge 4, all through the first 4 books, rising pretty high by the end of the 4th book. He even bonds an honor spren, swearing the oaths of the Windrunners. And as far as I know, it's been a long time since I read Rhythm of War, he fulfills those oaths clear up through the current installment of books that we have right now. Then we get to the time between Rhythm of War and the Sunlit Man. These are things that happen between when we know him as Sigzil and when we get to know him as Nomad. Somehow, for some reason, he breaks his Windrunner oaths. And as we know from the Stormlight Archive, breaking your oaths kills your spren, creating a Deadeye. But it didn't stop there. He next bonds a high spren, joining the Skybreakers and swearing those ideals. I do feel like the ideals of the Skybreakers are more his style, knowing what we know about him from the Stormlight Archive, but he never gets to continue on that path. For some reason, Hoid, who is attached to Sigzil, he has a relationship with him already, Hoid convinces Sigzil to hold a Dawn Shard. And through being bonded to this Dawn Shard, and the Dawn Shard trying to use too much investiture, pulls from Auxiliary, Sigzil's high spren, and mostly kills Auxiliary. He's not all the way dead, he doesn't become a Deadeye, but a lot of his personality has been burned away. Sigzil then gets rid of the Dawn Shard, doesn't want to hold it anymore. Even though he's gotten rid of it, he still is connected to it through that spiritual connection, which means the Night Brigade can use Sigzil to find the Dawn Shard. So now he is a target of the Night Brigade, and he is on the run. I hope that was as quick as I said it was going to be. But that's all important things. We have to know what he went through and where he came from to understand who he is going forward. And when we first meet him in the Sunlit Man as Nomad, he is on the run. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what planet he's on. He just knows he has to stay a skip ahead of the Night Brigade, and he is very low on investiture. Investiture, the magic of the cosmere, and what is required for him to skip and stay ahead of the Night Brigade. As far as I know, there are not a lot of characters that swear ideals or oaths for multiple orders of Knight Radiant. I think Nomad is unique in that aspect, but the fact is that he swore ideals 2 times, and every order has the same starting one. The first ideal, life before death, strength before weakness, and journey before destination. At this point in Nomad's life, he doesn't consider himself a Knight Radiant anymore. He's killed one spren and mostly killed a second one. He's not even on the planet where those orders of knights are, and he's hardly following his ideals anymore. Now that idea of journey before destination kind of signifies that the journey is more important. Wherever you're going, whatever the end point is, it's what you do on the way, the choices you make. But Nomad has no destination. He can't think ahead to where he might end up. He is on the run, just trying to stay ahead of the people chasing him, which means just the idea of journey before destination is probably too much for him to try to think about. And I feel like he just kind of ignores his past for the most part. He very purposefully is, compartmentalizing his past life to where he doesn't have to deal with it. It doesn't fully work because he feels so bad. He feels like he is such a terrible person. He probably feels like he doesn't deserve the title Knight Radiant anymore. I feel like his main conflict in this story is the war of his old self and his current self. I don't feel like he has really remade himself into somebody new. The old self he's pushing down, trying to suppress that old self. He hasn't had time to grow from there yet. He arrives on this planet and immediately gets caught up in what's going on in this world. Cinder King gets him, tries to turn him into a Cinderheart, Sunheart, whatever. And I really appreciated the parallel of Nomad being on the run and the people of Canticle all being on the run from the sun. He kind of fits right in with this lifestyle in this current point in his life, but he doesn't want to get caught up emotionally. He really tries to hold himself back from caring about these people. There was a time in his life, in his past, where he did let himself care about people. Not only did he let himself care about people, he swore to protect. Those are the ideals of the Windrunners, the first order of Knight Radiant he was part of. Skybreakers, though, all about law and justice, and that is something he can embrace with the Beaconites and protecting them from the Cinder King. He's also the scholar, the one who gets really excited about new ideas. This planet has a way of using investiture that he's never encountered before. This is really interesting. This piques his curiosity. He wants to know more, but he shoves that down. No, I am not that person anymore. I'm not the person who studies. I'm not the person who tests and measures that scientific self. No, I'm not the protector. I broke those ideals. I'm not the bringer of law and justice. He wants to forget who he was, but by this forced closeness with the Beaconites, his heart starts to get a little involved. He's forced to confront the fact that in some ways he is still the old person. And I don't just mean he's still the old person who swore oaths of protection and justice. He's also the same person who broke his oaths, the same person who disgusts himself. And there's really that war within him of which person is he going to choose to be going forward. Because he's tried to leave the old person behind. He's on the run. He hasn't made himself into a new person yet. So what is going to win out here? The part of himself who swore ideals and fulfilled them, or the part of himself who broke those? It doesn't tell us why he broke his Windrunner oaths. That's something that we're not going to find out until later books. I don't like that it was a character spoiler for the Stormlight Archive. It's like watching the Star Wars prequels where you know Anakin is going to become Darth Vader. I do appreciate that this one did not have a romance. Nomad's heart getting involved didn't have to do with getting involved with a woman. It had to do with getting involved with people he can understand, people who just need him. The Beaconites need Sigzil, the person he was before. They need Nomad, the person he is now. And they need the person they are holding him up to be and hoping he becomes, which is the Sunlit Man. In fact, they don't wait for him to fully change, they just give him a new name. I think there's a lot of power in that. Renaming him Zellion. What's the meaning of the name Zellion? What does Zellion mean? Ooh, Zellion. It means one who finds. Nomad wasn't even purposefully looking for anything. He was running away. He wasn't really running to anything, you know, no destination. But I think even subconsciously he was still trying to find who is he really? What is he really worth? And these Beaconites give him some of that. to them, he's worth everything. And oh man, talk about powerful imagery. I love the art piece where he goes all in. His companion all this time auxiliary sacrifices himself so that Nomad can do what he needs to do. He can bring back the person he used to be to do what needs to be done. And this picture, this art piece, so good. I love that. Love it so much. Also, how hard is it to have been a knight radiant and be fighting every day and then suddenly have this torment to where you can't cause harm, you can't fight? He freezes up. Even when he does try, he can't. He has to find a new way to deal with problems besides offensively. He knows how to fight, but he's forced into situations where he just can't and he has to figure it out. This book was not a happy one. It does not have a happy ending. Yes, he saves the people, but for Nomad, his journey is not over. It's not happily ever after. It's like the beginning of the next journey. He lets himself care about people again. His spren fully gave of himself for Nomad. He thinks he has kind of found a way to help with his torment, to rid himself of that, and maybe there's a destination he can be working towards, but it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. He's on a new one. I think I mentioned this when I did the unboxing or the review, I don't remember, but this art piece on the back cover, the end paper, this is so different from the rest of the book. The rest of the art is all very dark. Reds, blacks, oranges, very fiery, lots of action going on, and this one is so peaceful. And I think he can now move forward from here. I don't know the next time we will see Nomad. I don't know if Sigzil will return to Roshar later in the second era of Stormlight Archive, if he'll continue to be a world hopper and we'll see him on other planets and other books. I don't know, but I wish for the best for him. Comment what stood out to you about this book, about this character, and I'll see you back for more videos. Bye.